The Ravens flock, what's going on? I hope everybody's having a good day so far. So earlier today, the NFL and popular docu-series Hard Knocks, they announced that they're going to be trying something different this year. So for the first time ever, Hard Knocks will follow an entire division. And that division, of course, is the AFC North. The plan they have in place is to follow all four teams for the last the last 6 or 7 weeks leading into the playoffs, as we battle it out to see who's going to win the AFC North, and just to kind of follow all the teams' journey over the course of this season and the ups and downs. So I typically don't watch Hard Knocks, but of course we all know the history of Hard Knocks, and the fact that the Ravens were the first team that they covered back in like 2001. So I'm sure a lot of Ravens flock is obviously gonna tune in to see that. It makes sense that they would experiment with something like this with a division as competitive as the AFC North. When you look at the division, like at one point last year, like the entire division was like well above 500. Even going into this season, like 3 out of the 4 teams are above 500. And by the 3 teams, I'm talking about the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals. Honestly, at this point, I don't think the Steelers are real contenders. But at the same time, obviously, considering that Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, but they still have several solid players, there is a strong chance that they could, mess around and still finish 9-8 and maybe slip in as like a wild card. So the dynamic between all the teams and their journey, it could be interesting to watch, but I'm just concerned that it might become a little distracting. As I'm sure you all know and remember, last year Netflix, they debuted like a new series, a new docu-series called Quarterback, where they followed Patrick Mahomes, Marcus Mariota, and Kirk Cousins on their journeys throughout the season. And they were supposed to do a season 2, but it seems like that those plans have kind of stalled out. One of the quarterbacks that they were trying to get on to season 2 was Lamar Jackson. And Lamar, along with several other quarterbacks, did not want to participate in that because they felt it would be too big of a distraction. So many quarterbacks declined the opportunity to the point where they've kind of pivoted into like a spin-off of quarterback by doing a new series again called Receiver, where they're going to be just following pass catchers. One thing I'm not looking forward to with this is them showing flashbacks to the AFC Championship game, because we all know it's coming. Like, these shows, they love drama, they live off the drama, and they're going to try to milk anything as much as they can. So with that moment being one of the lowest moments of our franchise's history, like that was the first AFC Championship game held in M&T Bank Stadium, and for us to just completely wet the bed like that, it was definitely traumatizing for the Ravens flock. So I'm sure they're going to try to milk that. Now, when you look at the last 6 games of the year, we play the Chargers, the Eagles. We have a bye week, but obviously I'm not going to count the bye week, but past the bye week, we're going to play the Giants, the Steelers, the Texans, and the Browns. I'm already positive that the Chargers game will be played up to be really dramatic by the producers. Like, they're probably going to do flashbacks to the Harbaugh Super Bowl in 2012, where the San Francisco 49ers and the Ravens played. Obviously, we won. They're probably going to go back and talk about that. But then also, several of our players and former coaches, like Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, and Greg Roman, they moved on to the Chargers. So I'm sure they're going to kind of go on that angle too. But one game that I think is even going to be more hyped up than that is going to be the Steelers game. Like, obviously, there's a history between Ravens and Steelers, obviously, with the rivalry. But now there's, like, the Patrick Queen angle, which I still got to do a video about. PQ taking shots at us, even though many of us wished him the best. But we all know the PQ story, obviously. He was brought in to pretty much fill that void that came about when we let C.J. Mosley walk. He struggled initially, but he kept getting better year over year. But the Ravens decided they wanted to go get Roquan, so they got Roquan. They declined the opportunity to give Patrick Queen a 5th-year option, and then they drafted Trenton Simpson. So just pretty much they just very smoothly just transition to letting him go. Obviously, he signed a deal with the Steelers, which wasn't nearly as much as people expected him to get, which makes many people believe that he's just wanted to get a chance to get his revenge, against the Ravens, which now he'll have a chance to do, but he's not going to, because I think we're going to smoke them this year. I don't think this is a year where we're going to split with the Steelers. I think we're going to sweep them, but that angle, I think, is going to obviously make it more dramatic, so I think they're going to milk that a lot. But it would definitely be fun to see PQ get put on skates trying to tackle Lamar, or get ran over by Derrick Henry, or get beat in coverage by Mark Andrews or Isaiah Likely, or whoever ends up beating him. Either way, this is definitely going to be an interesting thing to see. I want you guys to let me know, are you guys interested in watching the AFC North in Hard Knocks? Do you guys think it's going to be interesting? And do you think there's going to be any games that are going to get more hyped up than others?